another day and another learning. Hello, students. I am Natalie, and welcome to our English class. For today's lesson, you will learn the importance and the different ways of citing and recognizing the sources of information through writing a bibliography. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started! If you were given an assignment or research on stories of Filipino women, how will you find a reliable source of information about the topic? Where do you usually refer to? Do you read books or just search it from the internet right away? In doing so, do you closely look at the parts or details of the sources that you use? Let's have an example. This is an example of a cover page of the book. What is the complete title of the book? Correct! The complete title of the book is Proud Pinay Inspirational Stories of Filipino Women. How many authors are there in the book? Very good! We have two authors, Linda Perez and Natalia Abuza. What is the name of the publisher? That's right! The name of the publisher is Perlas Publishing. How about where was the book published? That's great! The book was published in Cebu City, Philippines. Notice it has a title, subtitle, authors, name of the publisher, and place published. From the example, it is essential to take note and cite the important information or the basic parts of the book that can easily be found on the cover page. In doing a research, you need to cite or list your sources. Whenever you take specific facts, ideas, or quotations from a book, magazine, newspaper, or other sources. Here are some important reasons why do we need to cite or list the sources.
First, it gives credit to the authors. Second, it provides you and the reader with more information about the sources. Third, it shows the writer's credibility, referring to whether his or her sources are reliable. Fourth, it prevents plagiarism, an act of stealing someone else's ideas and presenting them as your own.
Look at the sample text inside the box. How many sources do you see? Very good. We have 3 sources. 1, 2, and 3. One way of citing your sources is through listing them on a separate page. This is what we call a bibliography. Let's define now what is a bibliography.
A bibliography is taken from the Greek word biblion, which means book, and graphia, which means to write. It contains an alphabetical list of sources like books, periodicals, and websites used by the writer or researcher. A research paper should contain a bibliography written on a separate page and should be located at the end of the paper. Each entry uses a hanging indentation, also known as a second line indentation.
There are many styles or formats in citing or listing sources depending on the subject. We have 3 main citation styles. These are the American Psychological Association or the APA style, the Modern Language Association or the MLA style, and the Chicago Manual of Style or CMOS.
American Psychological Association or APA style is used in social and behavioral sciences. The Modern Language Association or the MLA style is used for writing papers on literature and related subjects like theater or film. The Chicago Manual of Style or CMOS is often used in many academic fields, especially in the humanities and social sciences.
In this lesson, we will follow the bibliography standards specified in Chicago Manual of Style 17th edition. We have the types or formats of sources of information. These are print and online.
Let's discuss first the print sources. These are sources that have been published in printed format such as books and periodicals. The books are the most common and reliable sources of information. This is the format in writing a book bibliography. We have to write first the author's last name and first name, followed by the title of the book, subtitle, place of publication, name of publisher, and year of publication. Remember that always use a hanging indentation or second line indentation in writing a bibliography. Take note that two or more authors should be listed in the order as they appear as authors and not necessarily alphabetically. For sources with more than 10 authors, include only the first 7 in the bibliography followed by et al., a Latin phrase which means and others. For example, we have here 4 authors, so it should be listed in the order as they appear as authors and not necessarily alphabetically. After that, we have to write the title of the book, the subtitle, the place of publication, and the name of publisher followed by the year of publication. The next is the periodicals. These are magazines, scholarly journals, newspapers, and newsletters published at regular intervals. Publication dates are essential when citing periodical sources. The journals. It is a scholarly published periodical containing articles written by researchers, professors, and other experts. This is the sample format in writing a journal bibliography. We have to write the author's last name and first name, followed by the title of the article, journal title, and issue information. For example, we have to write first the name of the author, the last name and her first name, followed by the title of the article, and we are using quotation marks. Then, the journal title and the issue information. The next is the magazine. It is a periodical publication that contains stories, essays, pictures, and the like, usually published every week or every month. This is the sample format in writing a magazine bibliography. Author's last name and first name, followed by the title of the article, magazine title, and the issue date. For example, the name of the author, the title of the article with quotation marks, the magazine title, and the issue date. The next is the newspaper. It is a periodical that is printed and distributed usually daily or weekly, containing news, opinions, pictures, and advertisement. This is the sample format in writing a newspaper bibliography. Author's last name and first name, title of the article, newspaper name, month, day, and year. For example, we have here the name of the author, the title of the article with quotation marks also, then the newspaper name, the month, day, and the year. Now we have the online sources. These refer to any materials or information taken from the internet. Other terms for online sources are electronic sources, web sources, and internet sources. For example, the websites. This refers to the collections of files and related resources accessible to the World Wide Web and organized under a domain name. This is the sample format in writing a website bibliography. Author's last name and first name, page title, website title, published date, access date, and the URL.
URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Colloquially termed as a web address, it is a reference to a web resource that specifies its location on a computer network and a mechanism for retrieving it.
For example, We have here the author's last name and first name, followed by the page title with quotation marks, the website title, the published date or the access date, and the URL. The next is the ebooks. I think you're familiar with ebooks. These are books that are read on a computer or electronic devices, such as your smartphones, tablets, and computers or laptops. They are cited exactly as the printed book with the addition of a format at the end of the citation. For example, Kindle, PDF, EPUB, and etc. If books are referred online, include the URL at the end of the citation. This is the sample format in writing an e-book's bibliography. Author's last name and first name, title of the book, place of publication, name of publisher, year of publication, format ebooks, or the URL. For example, we have here the author's last names and first name, followed by the title of the book, place of publication, the name of the publisher, and the year of publication, and the format of ebook. Next is the online journals. These are journals read from digital libraries or online databases. This is the format in writing the online journal bibliography. Author's surname, first name, article title, journal title, volume number, issue year or the issue information, and the URL of journal article webpage or name of database. For example, we have here the name of the authors, followed by the article title with quotation marks also, the journal title, and the issue information, followed by the URL. And we have here the online magazine and online newspapers. These are the online versions of magazines and newspaper. Both sources have the same format in writing a bibliography entry. Author's last name, first name, article title, newspaper or magazine title, month, day, year, and the URL. For example, we have here the name of the author, the article title, the newspaper title, the month, date, and year, and the URL.
Those are the formats or ways of citing the sources of information through writing a bibliography. Is it easy to write a bibliography? That's great! It seems that we have already learned and mastered our lesson. I think it's time now to have a short quiz. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Read the questions carefully and write the letter of the correct answer. Question number 1. The word bibliography originated from the Greek words biblion, meaning a book, and graphia, meaning to A. Copy, B. Listen, C. Read, or D. Write. Time's up. What is the correct answer? Very good. The correct answer is letter D. Write. Question number 2. What does the Latin phrase et al. Mean? A. Among others, B. And others, C. For example, or D. With others. The correct answer is letter B. And other. Question number 3. Why is it important to cite the sources of information that you use in your research? It is important because it A. Gives credit to the author, B. Is required by the teacher, or C. Is generally a part of an essay, or D. Shows you made an effort in doing your assignment. Okay, the correct answer is letter A. Question number 4. Which part of a report can bibliography be found? It can be found in the A. Middle of a research, B. Beginning of a research, C. Last page of a research, or letter D. Introduction part of a research. The correct answer is letter C. The last page of a research. Okay, now let's go to question number 5. One of the reasons why a learner needs to cite sources of information used in his or her research is to show his or her credibility as a writer. This means that the learner A. Made his or her own research. B. Used reliable information in his or her research. C. Copied his or her work from his or her classmates. Letter D. Read a lot of books to include in his or her research. The correct answer is letter B. Used reliable information in his or her research.
Good job, students! You have learned the importance and the different ways of citing or recognizing the sources of information through writing a bibliography. Well, let's call it a day. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Ma'am Pilin Teresa Cercado. Keep safe and see you soon in our next class. Goodbye!